Why does the most powerful man in history wake up every morning asking himself, "Who am I?" Picture this: Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, sits alone in his private chambers before dawn. Outside, 60 million people await his commands. Senators seek his approval. Generals vie for his attention. The entire known world revolves around his will. Yet he opens his diary and writes, "I must learn to love and respect myself before I can truly love another." Today I ask again, who am I when stripped of title, power, and others' expectations? This is the imperial paradox that changes everything we think we know about confidence, relationships, and self-worth. The man who had absolute power over the external world spent every morning working on power over his internal world. Because Marcus discovered something that modern dating culture has forgotten: external validation, no matter how grand, can never fill an internal void. An empire couldn't cure his insecurity. Unlimited authority couldn't answer his deepest questions about identity and worth. Today, we're going to explore the 8-step inner journey system that Marcus developed before he ever met Faustina, the preparation that transformed him from a powerful but uncertain young man into someone worthy of authentic love. If you've been wondering why your dating life feels like an endless cycle of disappointment, why relationships seem to amplify your insecurities rather than heal them, why external achievements never seem to make you feel truly confident, then what you're about to discover will revolutionize not just your love life, but your entire relationship with yourself. The Emperor's Secret Struggle. Before we dive into his system, you need to understand the profound irony of Marcus Aurelius' inner journey, because it mirrors struggles that millions face today. Here was a man who could have had anyone he desired. Roman emperors before him collected lovers like trophies, demanded worship, and never questioned their worth. Marcus had every external reason to feel confident: unlimited wealth, ultimate authority, the adoration of millions. Yet his private writings reveal something extraordinary: deep uncertainty about his true identity, persistent questions about his worth beyond his title, and a profound understanding that external power meant nothing without internal peace. "I wake up each morning," he wrote, "and must remind myself who I am beneath the purple robes, beyond the cheering crowds, separate from the throne. For if I do not know myself truly, how can I offer that self to another in love?" This wasn't false modesty or philosophical posturing. This was the honest confession of someone who understood that authentic relationships require authentic people, and becoming authentic requires courage to face yourself without the masks that impress others. Marcus realized that all his previous relationships had been built on what he called imperial illusions: people loving his power, his status, his ability to provide advantages. But he yearned for someone to love Marcus the man, not Marcus the emperor. That realization launched him on the inner journey that would prepare him for the love story that defined his life. The 8-step inner journey system. Step 1. The mirror test: honest self-assessment. The first step toward wisdom, Marcus wrote, is seeing yourself clearly, not as you wish to be, or as others see you, but as you actually are. Every morning, Marcus practiced what he called the mirror test, not looking at his physical reflection, but examining his character, motivations, and patterns without the flattering filter of his achievements. He asked himself brutal questions: what am I trying to prove through this relationship? Am I seeking a partner or an audience? Do I love this person, or do I love how they make me feel about myself? Modern application: before opening a dating app or entering a relationship, ask yourself, who am I when I'm not trying to impress anyone? What am I hoping a relationship will fix about my life? Am I looking for someone to complete me, or someone to complement me? Step 2. Values clarification: your core principles. A ship without an anchor drifts with every wind, Marcus observed. A person without values attracts every wrong relationship. Marcus realized that without clear personal values, he would attract people who were drawn to his power but repelled by his principles, or worse, he would compromise his principles to keep people who weren't worthy of him. He spent months identifying his non-negotiables: wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. These became his relationship filters, not superficial preferences, but deep character requirements. Modern application: define your core values before you define your dating preferences. Ask, what principles would I never compromise, even for love? What character traits are absolutely essential in a partner? What kind of person do my values naturally attract? Step 3. Trauma processing, healing before dating. Wounds that remain unhealed, Marcus wrote, become weapons that harm not just ourselves, but those we claim to love. As emperor, Marcus could have ignored his emotional wounds or expected others to heal them for him. Instead, he courageously examined how his childhood abandonment issues, his fear of betrayal, and his struggles with perfectionism affected his relationships. He understood that unprocessed trauma doesn't disappear in relationships, it multiplies. Modern application: identify your emotional wounds and get help healing them before expecting someone else to love around them. Ask, what patterns keep showing up in my relationships? What triggers make me react instead of respond? What professional support do I need? Step 4. Pattern recognition, breaking toxic cycles. We attract not what we want, Marcus discovered, but what we are. Change what you are, and you change what you attract. Marcus identified his toxic patterns, seeking validation through others' admiration, choosing partners who needed rescuing, avoiding conflict to maintain artificial harmony. He realized these patterns were unconscious strategies to feel valuable that actually made him less valuable to himself. Modern application: list your last 3 significant relationships and identify the common problems. Ask, what role do I consistently play in relationship drama? How do I contribute to the patterns I complain about? What would I need to change about myself to attract healthier dynamics? Step 5. Independence building, loving your own company. The person who cannot enjoy their own company, Marcus concluded, will exhaust everyone else's. This step was revolutionary for someone with constant access to entertainment, company, and distraction. Marcus deliberately spent time alone, not because he was antisocial, but because he wanted to ensure he was entering relationships from choice, not desperation. He learned to find his own center, create his own joy, and build a life so fulfilling that adding someone to it was a bonus, not a necessity. Modern application: build a life you genuinely love before inviting someone to share it. Ask, am I comfortable being alone with myself? Do I have interests, goals, and joys that don't depend on another person? Would I want to date someone like me? Step 6. Boundary setting practice, protecting your energy. The person who stands for everything, Marcus learned, stands for nothing. The person who has no boundaries has no self. Even as emperor, Marcus had to learn to say no to senators demanding favors, to citizens wanting special treatment, to his own impulses for people-pleasing. He realized that boundaries weren't walls to keep people out, but gates that let the right people in. Modern application: practice setting healthy boundaries in all your relationships before entering romantic ones. Ask, what behaviors will I not tolerate? How do I communicate my needs clearly? Where do I end and another person begins? Step 7. Virtue development, becoming worthy of love. Do not seek to be loved, Marcus wrote to himself. Seek to be lovable. This wasn't about changing himself to please others, it was about developing the character traits that naturally inspire healthy love, reliability, kindness, growth mindset, emotional maturity, genuine interest in others' well-being. Marcus spent years building these qualities not to attract a partner, but because virtue was its own reward. The relationship benefits were a beautiful side effect. Modern application: focus on becoming the kind of person you would want to date. Ask, what character traits do I most admire in others? How can I develop these qualities in myself? What would make someone grateful to be in a relationship with me? Step 8. Purpose discovery, building a life worth sharing. Two people should come together, Marcus concluded, not because they are incomplete alone, but because they have something meaningful to share. Marcus's final preparation step was ensuring he had a clear sense of purpose and direction. He wanted to invite someone to join a journey that was already underway, not expect them to provide the journey. This gave him confidence that transcended physical appearance, social status, or dating market value, the confidence of someone with meaningful work to do in the world. Modern application: develop clear goals and purposes that excite you independent of relationships. Ask, what am I building in life that someone might want to be part of? What legacy am I creating? What would I be passionate about even if I never found romantic love? After completing this inner journey, Marcus wrote, I am ready now not to find someone who will make me happy, but to share happiness I have created within myself. Not to find someone who will complete me, but to discover someone who complements the completeness I have built. When he met Faustina, their connection was immediate and authentic because Marcus wasn't performing to win her love, he was simply being himself, confident that himself was worth loving. Their 30-year marriage became legendary not because it was perfect, but because it was built on the strongest possible foundation, two people who loved themselves enough to love each other freely. In our age of dating apps and instant gratification, Marcus's approach seems almost revolutionary, spending months or years preparing internally before seeking external connection. But consider this, how much time do you spend choosing the right photos, crafting the perfect profile, learning dating strategies, while spending almost no time on the inner work that actually determines relationship success? Marcus's system flips the script. Instead of trying to market yourself to others, become someone you're genuinely excited to be. Instead of seeking someone to fix your problems, solve them yourself first. Instead of hoping love will transform you, transform yourself and then share that transformation. The Emperor's Paradox teaches us the most beautiful truth about love. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot share a self you haven't discovered. You cannot offer authentic love from an inauthentic place. Marcus Aurelius had the entire Roman Empire at his disposal, yet he understood that the most important conquest was conquering his own heart. The most critical relationship was the one with himself. The most essential love story was learning to love his own character. These 8 steps aren't just dating preparation, they're life preparation. They don't just help you find better relationships, they help you become a better person worthy of better relationships. The question isn't whether you'll find love, it's whether you'll be ready for love when it finds you. Start with step 1, the mirror test. Spend 1 week honestly assessing who you are beneath your achievements, your social media persona, your dating profile. Be brave enough to see yourself clearly. Then add step 2 the following week. Build this system gradually but consistently. The inner work you do today determines the outer love you attract tomorrow. Remember, even emperors have to earn the right to authentic love. Not through conquest or power, but through the courage to know and love themselves first. If this imperial wisdom helps you prepare for the love you truly deserve, share it with someone who's ready to do the inner work. Subscribe for more ancient dating secrets that transform not just your relationships, but your entire life. You don't need an empire to love like an emperor. You just need the courage to build one within yourself. Stay inner. Stay ready. Stay stoic.